Hi everyone, I'm Douglas Burberry and this is the next of my videos on the history of Tasmania. This video is to do with the Four Corners at the township of Ross. The Four Corners is the name given to the corners on the crossroads which is formed by the main street of Ross, which is Church Street, and the Bridge Street, which is the street coming from the bridge into the township. Here is a graphic showing the Four Corners at Ross. Now, originally these four corners did not form the shape of the letter X. Before the current Ross Bridge was built, the main road from Launceston to Hobart Town went from the crossroads to the original bridge, which made the crossroads form a different angle as shown here. This original line of the road from the crossroads to the old bridge was still called Bridge Street. When the new bridge was built in 1836, the routing of Bridge Street was changed to what it is today, forming a straight line all the way from the Macquarie River to the far end of the township. You can also see in this chart that the section of Church Street leading from the crossroads to the top of the hill where the Uniting Church now stands was not originally surveyed as a street. So at this time, perhaps the term three corners would have been a more appropriate name for the intersection. Each of the four corners has been given a popular name. These names are Recreation, Temptation, Salvation, and Damnation. Interesting names, to be sure. These names were created to match the functions of the buildings which stand on each of the corners. I'm not sure if there is a fixed order to naming the corners, in other words, which one comes first and which comes last. Anyway, I will start with the Recreation corner, which is where the town hall stands. The new building housed the council chambers where council meetings were held. It also included a library and a reading room. Plus, there was the large hall behind these where concerts and other such public events could be held. Because it was used as a recreational facility for the townsfolk, it has been given the name Recreation. Next is Temptation. This is the Ross Hotel, formerly known as the Manor Ross Hotel, and known as the Ross Hotel before that. Recent history claims that the hotel was first licensed in 1835. This claim appears to have started because a licensee in the early 1970s found one of the original licensing certificates for the hotel, which was dated 1835, and he assumed that it was the very first licensing certificate for the hotel. In fact, the Ross Hotel was first licensed by William Sadler 3 years before that, in 1832, and it has been a licensed pub for nearly the whole of its existence. It was also the first place that I ever performed a professional music gig, when I played piano in the lounge bar when I was about 17. The licensee at the time, John McManus, couldn't serve me a beer to drink while I was playing because I was underage and it was more than his license was worth. Then comes Salvation. This is Our Lady of the Sacred Heart Catholic Church. It sits on a grant that was originally 1 acre made to Charles Sutton. The building on the corner was originally a private residence. Then in 1846, it became a general store operated by Charles Hudson. Afterwards, the Bacon family continued to operate it as a general store until 1916, when they sold it to the Roman Catholic Diocese of Tasmania. The Roman Catholics converted it to a church in the 1920s and added a steeple. Originally, there was a statue of the Sacred Heart at the apex of the steeple, but it was removed because it made the whole unstable. This statue is now situated in the grounds of the Catholic school at Deloraine. And the last of the four corners is Damnation. This building is now a private residence, but before that, it was the residence of the Council Clerk at Ross. However, it is not the original building on the site. Before the Council Clerk's residence was built, it was the site of a building known as the gaol. Hence, if you were resident there, you had probably fallen from a state of grace and were on your way towards damnation. Maybe through temptation by visiting the place diagonally opposite. This photo shows the building known as the jail, which stood on the site before the Council Clerk's residence was built. It in turn was rebuilt from an earlier structure. In fact, calling it a jail is incorrect, because it wasn't a jail at all. It was in fact a watch house. Now, they sound the same thing, jail or watch house, but they were different. And I will do another video later on to explain the difference. There is another important feature located at the Four Corners in Ross, although it's not actually on one of the four corners. And this is the War Memorial, which is in front of the Green Island in Church Street, in between the Town Hall and the Council Chambers. Originally, the War Memorial consisted of a single memorial, which was dedicated to Private Fitzallen, who lost his life during the Boer War. It was originally located at the left corner of the Town Hall and was unveiled in 1903. Then, when a new memorial to the fallen soldiers of World War I was commissioned, this new memorial was placed at the other corner of the Town Hall. In 1925, the Ross Council, after consulting with the people of Ross, decided to move both memorials to their present position, where they take a central and prominent place in the landscape of the Four Corners. The Commonwealth also contributed a 15-pounder field gun to the memorial in 1824, and it was placed in between the two existing memorials. The Four Corners of Ross therefore provide a number of striking images which are representative of the history of the Ross Township from the earliest days through to more modern times. There is even a fridge magnet showing the Four Corners of Ross. I don't know if this can still be purchased or where it can be found, but if you're lucky, you might just happen to find one somewhere. Good luck!